Hey, Pastor Scott here at the Weekly Word. We're looking today at a passage in Matthew chapter 6 where Jesus is teaching us about not worrying. And so we're going to call it Don't You Worry. And he's teaching on so many different things in this section of writing that we get here in the book of Matthew. But ultimately, he's telling us, hey, if you'll live this way and you don't live this way, then you're going to live a blessed, abundant, successful life because you're living the way things are designed by God to be lived out. And so we continue looking at how we need to know the design by knowing the designer. So in Matthew chapter 6, verse 21, Jesus says something very famous. A lot of us have heard. He says, "For your heart will always pursue, your thoughts will always be on what you esteem as your treasure." Those things you treasure is where your heart and your mind will always go and what it'll always focus on. So the first question I have for us as we look at Don't You Worry is, what are you pursuing? What are you treasuring? What is your heart focused firmly on? If it's status or power or finances, or maybe you're not selfish, but you want that powerful nest egg down the road. You want the retirement that keeps you from ever having to worry about anything. Maybe what you pursue is something to do with your kids, for them to be successful or for you to be successful through them. I hope I didn't poke too many people there. But we gotta take inventory of these things. What am I pursuing by what my heart is focused on and what my mind is obsessed with? Because if I focus on the things of the Lord and I'm pursuing the things of the Lord, then I'm not going to have any worries at all. And even if I pursue wealth or power or status and I reach that, I'm going to live worried because I'm pursuing the wrong thing. So Jesus goes on and keeps talking down in verse 25. He's talking about, this is why I tell you to never be worried for your life. Because everything that you need in life will be provided by God as you pursue Him wholeheartedly, as you focus on the things of God. I love up in verse 23, he says, if your eyes are focused on money or on pursuing something else, light cannot penetrate and darkness takes its place. So if we're focusing on the wrong things, pursuing the wrong things, obsessed with the wrong things, light will not be able to come in and darkness will take up its place. It's almost like opening the gate and saying, hey, darkness, come on in. None of us would do that. But by pursuing the wrong things, we open the gate and darkness says, I'm coming in if you let me, because light can't penetrate there. And so the second question I have as we look at these things that Jesus says when he says in verse 27, so which one of you by worrying can add anything to your life? Some versions say can't add a single moment, a single second, a single iota to your life by worrying. Does worry take up any space in your mind? Only you can answer that. And the Lord knows, and the Holy Spirit will help you walk out of that. But does worry, and I'm not talking about being fearful. Fear and anxiety, sure, that's worry, but it may be worried about the future, worried I don't have enough, worried that I'm not going to get that promotion, worried about my love life, worried about my status, whatever it is. Does worry take up any space in your mind? Because if it does, well, then darkness takes its place there too, and you don't want that. Certainly Jesus doesn't want that for you. And then in verses 33 and 34, Jesus goes on to talk about what matters most, and he says, so above all, constantly seek God's kingdom and His righteousness, then all these less important things that maybe they matter, but they don't matter in comparison, these less important things will be given to you abundantly. So you focus on Jesus first and foremost, on above all seeking God's kingdom and His righteousness, and all these less important things will be given to you in abundance by God. And then he says, refuse to worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about the things that are coming. Just focus on God. So the last question I have is, do you trust the way God designed it all? Really, it comes down to, do you trust the designer? Do you trust God? Do you believe that He's faithful to take care of you if you pursue Him and Him alone? Because that's the mark of a Christian, is to walk by faith, trusting God and all those things, pursuing Him first and foremost, and then watching Him give to us in abundance what He knows we need, but we stay focused on Him. So don't you worry. Stay focused on God. Know the designer and His design, and then live that out. You'll have a blessed life, full of abundance from God, and you'll be successful in God's terms in every single thing you do.